Hello, my name is Praise Godwin, and this video marks the beginning of a series of videos that I'll be making for the foreseeable future. And this will be part of our 3D design for beginners, where we'll be using Autodesk Fusion as a design software. Now, Autodesk Fusion is a CAD software, which is stand for Computer Aided Design Software, and what it does is, as the name implies, it's for designers, but it's computer aided design. Unless you have an issue with your villagers, I don't have to explain that. Now, it is to kick off this course, I'll need to point out a couple of things ahead of time. One, you should have a design software. Now, I would say Fusion is a great choice for you to have. One, because it has a hobbies program, which is the program that I use. Two, because it's easier to learn, has a very good learning curve, where it's easier for you to learn compared to other programs. And then three, lets you do a whole bunch of things before it starts squeezing your bank account. Either ways, if you do have a card program and you don't know how to use it, this video is for you. Or you want to get a card program and you don't know how to use it, this video is for you. Or you have a program and you've just not used it, this video is for you. It doesn't really matter, this video is just for you. But if you've been doing it for past 10 years and you wrote 10 years on your CV, please avoid this video. Thank you very much. Now, for us to kick off this video, we need to understand a few things. First and foremost, we have to look at how Fusion sees your design. I believe fundamentally Fusion sees your design as an assembly. Everything you do, Fusion sees it as an assembly from the beginning. This top level here where you see my mouse, Fusion is seeing all of this as an assembly. Now, for us to get to what an assembly is, we have to go down a little bit. So we'll start from what a vertex is. A vertex is a simple point in time which I have taken my time out to make for you. This point here where my mouse is, you can see it's a vertex. I can select it and you see over here it's selected. You have a sketch, which is this one right here, which is a drawing using a combination of vertices. These are points in time, just like I said. And if you make those points in time randomly, you can connect them to make a shape. I don't know why you do it at random, but you can connect them to make a shape. Now, we can look at this beautiful, simple nothing I just did here, and we can call this a body. Now, a body can be of two types. You can have a solid body or a surface body. If you're using a surface body, it's more or less a very light body. I don't know why I'm going to have to break that for you, but either way, it's going to be a solid body or a surface body. Surface body, just know it's more or less very light, where you use for CNC machining, all those parts where you have to you get to that in the future. But what you know is this is a solid body, and that will be our third phase. And then when you have a combination of bodies like this, what you have here will be a component. Now, a component is a file that carries a combination of bodies in it. There are multiple bodies within one component. It's within one file. It's called a component. Where you have that body alone, it's called a body, solid body for the most part. And then you have a sketch, and then you have a vertex. It's just a point in time, a reference point in space, not time, space, sorry. And then back to what I was saying, Fusion sees all this as an assembly. If you work in manufacturing, work in the manufacturing industry, forgive my English, I'm not learned. If you work in manufacturing industry, now you'd either ways Fusion treats all your programs as an assembly. Within that assembly is a combination of components. There are multiple components within that assembly that makes up a complete part or a usable part. What do I mean? If you have a system or a phone in the house, which of course you have a phone, I don't know what else you'll be watching this video with. That phone you're holding, to the designer, it's an assembly. That phone you're holding is a complete assembly, contains multiple parts within that phone. That one phone, you can refer to it as an assembly. The designer who got to the phone, who designed the phone you're holding, when he started his design, if he used the computer by then, what he had done is he has started by creating this vertex you see up here down to a sketch, down to a body, splitted those bodies, and voila. By the time he's done spending all the years he spent, I don't know, just for you to watch tiny video on TikTok, that we got to this point where you have a full assembly in your hand, one particular assembly. Now, don't get me wrong, an assembly can be used, the word assembly can be used in various contexts. If you're within an assembly plant, you hear a car assembly. What a car assembly is one full car is an assembly. An assembling plant is where you produce multiple of that assembly. So it makes reference to the same thing. Either ways, that's the basics you need to know. There's a vertex, there's a sketch, there's a body. A sketch is not really part of the body. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Now, there's a sketch, a body, a component, an assembly, and I'll show you all of that over here. Now, let's backtrack this thing down to create sketch. Nice. Now, if you use Fusion, which I advise you should, and you open your software, your app, this is what you get. At least you get something that looks like this. You get this right here, which is showing you all the tools you need, and you have an empty space. You have a browser to this hand, and you have a timeline underneath, and you have this bar right here. This will get to what they do. Now, what you should know is, I encourage you to play with your software. Play with it. Open your software, play with it, touch things, know what they are. That's why you have it, for crying out loud. I don't know why you install it and just keep it, but that's why you have it. Play around with it. But let us get back to being serious. Now, if you look at your software, this ribbon up here at the top of your software, what you get is you get a segregation of tools, and it's already written down here, but I'll break it down. We have this area here in Fusion is what I will refer to as a primary tool set. Within that primary tool set, we have these tools right here. Now, some of these tools within the primary tool sets you can also look at as primary and secondary. What are they? These are where you can create your sketch, create a form, create a new component, where you can go further by extruding from any sketch you've created, revolve a sketch, sweep a sketch, loft to join two different shapes together to make a solid component, a solid body. Here is a rib where you can create bracings for you, depending on how you design your line. I don't know why you want to do that. There's emboss and web, and then there are other the ones I will call secondary within this primary section. Some things like box, cylinder, squares, and the rest. All of these things here are things you use to mostly create a solid body. Now, if you move to these other points here, which I'll classify as your secondary, all the features and tools you have here are what you use to edit what you've created already. Those are what you have here. This will help you edit what you've created with the primary features. These tools here will help you edit those. Now we'll move to this other part, which is more or less a tertiary and above, if you're doing masters and PhD. What this will help you do here is build an assembly. You can see it has joints where you can do joint studies, motion study, link joints, where you get to more complicated things, and so goes the rest. Here is a construction plane. This will help you create planes within various angle or various any angle or surfaces where you need to continue further drawing. So these tools here, from this construct, inspect, aids, this your primary tool here. It aids you to create whatever it's in your mind to create. I don't know. So let me give you an example. Let's assume I want to create a circle here. What did I do? Go up here, you see back up on the ribbon. I'm a bad teacher. Let's go back. In order for us to create something, we have to click on this tool right here, which is a create sketch. When you click a create sketch, it gives you this three nice looking box right here. To explain what this is, you have to understand that when you're using a 3D program, it's you're drawing within a 3D space. You're confined by, you're not confined. Wait, is it confined or not? Well, you're working within a 3D space, your X, Y, and Z, where you have forward, backward, sideways, up, and down, which is who you are, why you exist, either ways. And now we have, to understand that better, we look at this cube over at right, top right. If you look at this cube here, you see that we can reposition our space in our place in space, not our space in time. No, our place in space. We can reposition our place in space. So we know exactly where we are. This way, we are top looking down. If you move the other way around, we are side looking forward, backward, up, and down. It's confusing from here. But either ways, just understand that when you're working, when you're doing anything in 3D, regardless of where it is, you're working in a 3 dimension, which is your X, Y, and Z axis. This box here represents those axes, and it's asking you, where do you want to create your sketch? What axis do you want to create your sketch? This axis right here, this axis right here is a Z X axis. This axis is, regardless of where it is you want to create your sketch, you understand better as you move further within the program. You understand how you use most of these things. But either ways, let's assume I want to create my sketch here from the bottom and create up. Now, just to point out, this place I said it's a bottom, this is just a reference point that was created by Fusion so you can stand off something. It doesn't restrict me from creating anything below this point. It's just a reference point. It's called an origin. You can see that anytime I click on this origin over here at this browser point, you see it comes up. This is called your point of origin. Where do you want to create your sketch from? Where do you want to start creating your sketch from? Now, as I've clicked that origin, I want to start creating from here. You look at the top of your ribbon. Is this called a ribbon? Well, you look at this top and you see various tools here available for you to use. You can either use a rectangle, a line, a circle, a spline, fit point spline, a mirror. Once again, if you get into this section, you have divided tool set. And you notice our primary, secondary, and tertiary tools as it was from the other screen I showed you. And then we have all of these other ones here which can aid your primary tool set here. Now, if we look at this primary, we have lines, rectangles, circles, arc, and all of these tools here. This helps us create our body, while the secondary tool set here helps us edit the body we've just created. Now, on the tertiary side of our sketch face, this face here is called a sketch face. It's a drawing face. This is a drawing screen, a sketch screen, any way you put it. Now you have tools here that acts more or less like the management kind of tools, where you have to help you constrain, helps you align things, more top level alignments. Either ways, you get to use most of this as you go on. Now let's assume we create a circle, and here we go, create a circle. You can see if I move this, anyways I move my mouse, it increases, goes up and down, side to side, and you can see it's giving me this dialog box right here, and it's writing, giving me a number with a measurement. That measurement behind it is it's inches. You can change that measurement and I'll show you where, but let's assume I want to make this 2. I can click on this 2 here, and you see if I click enter, it makes the diameter of this circle will be 2. I can go back and change this whenever I like to 3, go back, make 4, 5, or 6. But either ways, let's leave it at this. And if I say okay, let me create another circle, and let me just create that here. Let me say I create another circle which is 2. And now let's use some of these tools. Now you understand them as you move further. Let's use some of these tools. Let's say I want this here to be aligned with this one here, the same point. I could say horizontal vertical constraint. Click on that, click on this, and click on this guy here. You see it aligns it for me. It aligns it horizontally. You can see this symbol here is pointing to the fact that this is aligned horizontally or vertically, depending on where you are. And then we can also use another tool called dimension. Yeah, sketch dimension. We can click on that. We say I want this to be so distance away from this. That just lets it know how close, how far, or the point where I am. Let us say I want it to be 3 away. You can see that here it's already 3 away. Now what else do I want to create? Let us create a third circle, and let's create that here. Let me show you the use of a secondary tool. Now you can see something like trim. We can click here and we say we don't want this in here. In fact, we don't want this one here. Now you're already getting a warning. There are dimensions and constraints to this 2 item here. It's pointing to something for you. Either ways, we can then click select and let's extrude. Once again, I'm a bad teacher, so let's go back. If we are satisfied with this drawing and want to move forward, we click on finish sketch. We select this profile and then we click on extrude. Remember, I said to create a sketch, your tools are within the primary section, which is right over here. Now we just selected extrude and it gives us this dialog box here. This is more or less a control panel for each feature. Anytime you select a feature, you get a control panel pop up here that shows you what you can and cannot do with that selected feature. So let's not assume, let's increase the height of this, give it a thickness. Once we've done this, you can see over here in distance, it's giving you what? 0.9 inches. Now we can come here in the direction, we can say want it to be 2 directions. Now direction number 1 is at 0.9 inches. I want direction number 2 can be 0.5. You see, it has gone below a point of origin, what I said earlier. It has gone below there and giving us a 0.5 over there. Oh, what if I don't want it to be two-faced? I can want it to be symmetrical, where I want anything that happens to this top to happen to the bottom and vice versa. And then you can see that here within this second face, it has gone 0.9 inches also. It's more like a mirror, but not a mirror. And yeah, there's a mirror tool we use later. I'll show you how to use later. In other words, let us say we want it back at one direction and we've given it a distance. You can see here this option, distance to object, and or we'll use it later so you know what they are. But for now, let's focus on this distance and we say we want a new body. Okay. Now look at what we have. If we come home, we've created our first body. And let me show you things you can use in the secondary tools. And one of those ones you'll be using very often will be fillet. Let's select this body and let's try to fillet it. Let's see what will happen. Ta-da! You can fillet. You can chamfer, you can make holes, you can join bodies, split bodies. Each of all these tools will get to use them and you get introduced to them subsequently. But either ways, this is just one of those things where I said you can modify what you've created. These are secondary tool sets. You can modify what you've created in the primary tool set, which is here. You can use the secondary tool set to modify your primary tool set. And you can say, okay. Now, congratulations, you've just created your first 3D body. I don't know what you'll be using this for, but you've just created your first 3D body. I'm not the one that created this. I can't create this nonsense. But either way, you've created your first 3D body. And something else I'd like to point out, which I would have pointed out from the beginning, is this is my first recording. So don't blame me if it's anyhow it comes out. Just let me know in the comment section. We'll know where to improve from here. Well, thank you very much for watching. No, you should be thanking me for doing this for you. Like, you're the one who's going to benefit from it, not me. But either ways, thank you and good luck to you.